it was around this time of the year in 2007, I believe, that I showed the game to Andy McNamara and Reiner up at Game Informer, and that led to Andy making the decision to put the first Borderlands on the cover of the magazine, which is a big risk, of course, because it's new IP and like, what the hell. And at that stage, that was 2007. Remember, the game shipped in October of 2009, and at that stage, we had already had over 2 years invested in the development of the game. And when you think about what that was at that stage compared to what yeah, I mean, it was great, but man, we did so much to change the game and iterate it and evolve it. So probably like from like, okay, we're doing this to shelf date was probably about 4.5 years. I don't know, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the same thing I told all those who came before you. It doesn't exist.
I think that the challenge at the beginning was getting attention. Part of that is new IP, you know, and that's an uphill battle always. But also, I think that the art direction actually didn't serve us at the beginning with getting attention. The art direction that we landed on got everyone's attention, and that was really kind of interesting. That change, that a lot of folks in the industry that, you know, when the art direction was revealed, you know, approached me and you guys are dumb. That's a huge risk. You're going to totally eat it. And I was like, I don't think so. I think that's actually going to help people notice something that's great anyway. And now that, you know, you can't just be great. You have to be great and known to be great. Like you can't. So you kind of have to have the attention too. And that art direction got everyone's attention.
Now this is real, this is live. Now we're not done yet. We're actually pre-alpha still, so so the game's amazingly far along for where we are in development.
There was a time where we'd done the Game Informer, we'd unveiled the game to the world, and then some video of the game had gone out from some game shows, and there was a website that cropped up, and this website had taken all the screenshots from the videos, and they'd taken every screenshot from all the guns, because there was at one point in the video where we walked around and just spawned like 100, 200 guns or whatever, and they had just had, you know, each of these guns had one frame of the item card, and what they had done is they had taken every single one of these guns and put it into a big list, and then, if you recall, every gun has its own unique model number. And they started to take the model numbers of all the guns and then digest them and like what they mean based on the stats. They reverse engineer it. Yeah, so like the VDF 90X means that it's a little more accurate, but if it's the 91, then it's got a longer barrel. And as soon as I saw that, I realized like, okay, the world is actually just as ravenous for this game as I am.
This guy might have an electrical effect. It's kind of a secondary effect when we hit these guys. Fire this weapon a few times. I noticed this is a rifle that actually looks like it has a revolver. Reload the thing. Look, it's like a revolver load. I've never seen that weapon before. That's pretty neat. And I'm discovering new things all the time as we play this game.
We had all these interesting characters that we created, but they were just characters.
There wasn't like any personality to what was going on, and there wasn't much attitude in the environment. And once we actually had characters that had a little bit of story and sounded interesting, and they all had these roles that were tied directly to the game, a lot more personality made it into the game than up until that point. The gameplay was fantastic, but it felt a little
the other thing that's
and these characters, there's actually a number of different classes you can choose from. We're looking at 2 of them today. And these characters are on a larger adventure, and each quest is part of that. And as we dig deep into here, we'll get a glimpse at these guys.
People were discovering like what was the right tone for things, and you realize like this really wasn't a super serious game.
I wrote a lot of the stuff initially, and when I write, I tend to prioritize the information that the player needs to understand what the hell's going on so that they can track things. And a lot of my stuff was kind of dry in that regard. So Mikey comes along and basically rewrites all of my stuff, so the information is there, but he added all this personality to it.
You're going to see that they're going to get attacked by bandits. The bandits have left the safety of the colonies. They've left the safety of the settlements, and they've sort of banded together to maraud and scrape the landscape for food and fuel. Very Mad Max vibe.
At the very beginning, for level design, we had a whole concept of like randomized levels that we were actually going to piece together parts of the level, and that didn't feel good. So that went, and there's all kinds of stuff Jimmy's worked on that's probably gone through that too.
This game is very dynamic, very systemic. Every time we play this, things are a little bit different, both in the equipment that we're discovering and the enemies that we encounter.
And from there, we'd look at it and say, well, where does the game want to go from here? And it would sort of move and progress. And the art style change was probably the biggest, most obvious change. Like
To the outside
realized,
person.
Yeah, the outside person. Clearly. Yeah, the outside person. Is that before that the game was a much more gritty, much more serious tone.
We had probably a year where we debated the title. Our working title was the name of the planet, Pandora.
Explore this world as you wish, and you can dig deep into some of these mines to go harvesting loot or hunting. And so this universe we've created that Matt Armstrong and Simon and the leads on the Borderlands team that these guys have created, that I've just been so fortunate to be a part of with these guys, is this really interesting world. They've got this universe that very much feels like it's like the Old West. It's like the frontier. They're going out to these borderland planets and these colonies where it's lawless and it's desolate and it's harsh and life is tough. But there's reasons why folks are going out there. Some are going to get away, to escape, to hide. Some are going to seek their fortune, looking for treasure or to stake a claim with these new frontiers. There's alien technology out there, and they're going to find it. And so there's this plot that's wrapped up into this universe that's been created that's very interesting and compels us to move forward. Really, really clever ideas, right? This planet Pandora, it's way the heck out there, and they colonized it with these colony ships. The ships themselves are designed to be the colonies, so the ships crash into the planet, and the hull and the holds of the ship become the settlements. And when they get there, it's a huge planet. It takes like a day is over 100 hours, and it takes decades just to change from summer to fall and from fall to winter. And so when they arrive, it's winter. And after 10 years or so, they're getting established. They're having a hard time. There's not really it's not the alien technology they hope to find, the ancient alien technology they hope to find, and life is tough. And then it starts to turn into spring, and all these creatures start coming out of hibernation. And there's little things that'll swarm and consume everything in their path, and giant things that can crush vehicles and buildings under their feet. These horrible, horrible creatures, right? And on top of it, the society itself has started to break down. Yeah, they've got all the folks living inside of the colonies, and they've kind of formed a loose economy and a simple rule of law, But then you've got these guys that are leaving the colonies, and they're banding together as bandits, as marauders, and they just scrape the landscape, killing anyone they run into, trying to find more food and fuel. And it's this very kind of like Mad Max kind of environment. And the sum of all these elements trying to live and survive and clash amidst you as a fortune hunter, kind of like a mix between Indiana Jones and Mad Max, looking for this discovery, this alien vault that's supposed to be on this planet, and the untold fortune and riches that are inside. It's this very rich atmosphere for all this exploration, all this action and discovery.
Why have you come here? Only fools and criminals come to this planet. This is a dangerous place.
I remember I went down and I asked Rob Hieronymus, who's one of the first designers on the ground working on the thing, so did you have, how the game turned out, did it match anything like what you expected when you started? And he's like, no. And then a few minutes later I went over to Matt Armstrong and asked the exact same question, and he said, exactly.